Hello Sagittarius friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Sagittarius November 2025 Astrology Horoscope Forecast. In this report, I'm going to go into what life will be like as a Sagittarius in November, as a fellow Sagittarius myself. This is for you if Sag is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Sagittarius placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. Very late degree Sagittarius friends, so birthdays like December 15th through the rest of the sign, or 23 degree Sagittarius placements through the rest of the sign. I suggest you additionally listen to my Capricorn report, as you cuspy friends will benefit from both readings. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I'm Annie Botticelli. I'm an astrologer, among other things, and I have been teaching astrology and doing astrology for over 20 years, and in my reports, I like to share with you not only what you may see happen, but also why, so you understand the mechanics of the stars. We will go into all of this in this report. I'm going to give you a lot of dates this month, a lot of extra dates, so if you have your calendar handy or you can go back through and write stuff down, you may want to do that. And if you want even more sweet and salty dates, as I like to call them, and important points during the month explained in detail, definitely grab your free November star report at anniehelpsyou.com. You also get free mini astrology lessons and everything there. You can see that at anniehelpsyou.com. Okay, and actually you can go to that site now while you're listening and just go ahead and grab your star report so that you don't forget. So Saggy friends, this is our time. Birthdays start. We've got a massive amount of showing in Sagittarius, so I'm just going to start there. The Sun will get to Sag later in the month. Mars will get to Sag early in the month. We've got Mercury retrograde, first direct and then retrograde in Sagittarius. We've got star goddesses Juno, Vesta, and Astrea in Sagittarius. So this is a massive showing of energy for us, and this is very exciting because we don't even get the Sun in Sag until the end of the month, but all of the rest of the Sagittarius is flowing. That means the stars are speaking our language of expansion and growth and excitement and enthusiasm and broadening our horizons and adventure and looking to the horizon and chasing it like Moana. This is all about Sagittarius, learning and teaching and broadening. So we're going to have countless opportunities to do that. New opportunities and lots of tilts towards the past. Things from the past we were excited about. Opportunities from the past, people from the past, places we went to in the past or have considered going in the past will come back around as we are in this Mercury retrograde. So I do want to talk a lot more about these Sag energies and what you may see and where they are in the Sag chart. But first, we have to know that the lens through which we look at everything this month is with retrograde glasses on, okay? So we're a little bit kind of googly-eyed this month because of the retrograde. We're not necessarily seeing clearly on certain topics, and we're not seeing very far ahead. The tides are coming in, and anything we try to push out will just get bounced back to the shore. So this month is our best bet to just hang out at the shore, see what the waves bring us rather than trying to conjure or make something happen. That being said, we will have massive amount of inspiration, and you don't have to be afraid to create or to try something new. Just remember that this is an experimentation month, but it's not necessarily a huge launch month. It's amazing for promos, like a short-term launch of some kind, but for your big projects like publishing your books and all of that, I'll give you the date for that as we go through this Mercury flow. So let's talk about this. October 21st is the day that Mercury goes into its pre-shadow period. November 9th is the day it goes retrograde. November 29th is the day it goes direct. And December 17th, that's your magical day, mid-month and after, if you've got your big projects, your big decisions, the things that you need more clarity and forward focus on, you may want to wait until mid-December for that, right near my birthday on the 16th. And so around that time, the tides will shift and you will feel it. So short-term experimentation, trying stuff on, going back over stuff, editing, revising, that's great for this month. And then if you want to bring something out with those outgoing tides so the tides can carry it far and wide, mid-December may be your better launch point. I'm calling a theme of this month for all signs, the Lantern and the Labyrinth. We've got a ton of Scorpio energy. I'm going to get back to this. That is the labyrinth. And then we've got a ton of this light within the labyrinth, which is the Sagittarius, the light bringing clarity to the mysteries and bringing focus to the big picture. I want to give you a quick analogy to help you now and to forever better understand what the heck is a pre-retrograde shadow transit and a retrograde and a post-retrograde, and what does this mean and why do I care? I'll give you an analogy that you can always use. You will remember this and it will be very, very easy for you to apply. So just take a moment with me to hear me out and you will see why it's important. I see the retrograde process here for Mercury like you're wanting to make a U-turn when you're going at full steam ahead on a busy road. So October 21st, you're like, oh crap, gotta make a U-turn. You start that process of slowing down. All the cars are going fast in that lane and you've got to get way over with these fast cars. You're slowing down, you're trying to move over. That is awkward. So the pre-shadow period, the time in the weeks before you get to the retrograde, that is what it's like. Things are starting to slow down, but other things are racing ahead. You're trying to get in there. It's super awkward. Then November 9th, you actually get to that median between the roads. But now you've got to position yourself so that you're not too far in one lane or the other to get your car clipped. That awkwardness of positioning yourself is like the actual retrograde days, the days around the retrograde. So the days around the 9th, you're trying to position yourself in that middle section, median, to be safe with traffic whizzing on both sides of you. So things are going on, but there's that air of awkwardness, that air of fragility, of accident proneness, to be extra careful. Now you're here from November 9th to the 29th, just sitting in the median, watching life go by, trying to get a handle on things, looking for your spot to dive in to be able to go the other way. November 29th, you find that spot. Again, super awkward. That process feels so unsafe, is so unsafe of trying to get back into rushing traffic when you are going 0 miles an hour at that moment. The days around the 29th, super awkward, extra accident prone, extra miscommunications and issues. Then once you're finally going in the direction you want to go in, now you've got to wait until the 17th, the post-transit shadow period. It takes that long for you to get back up to speed with the traffic going in the other direction that you're trying to go in. And as of the 17th, you're back up to speed and back in the flow of the traffic again. Okay, so now you can understand that and you can position your decisions and position your schedule according to this. Okay, now you can understand it forevermore. All right, so we're looking at everything through the googly-eyed lens of retrograde, bringing us back to the past, helping us be the earthworm and go back over things, everything with RE, editing, redoing, revamping, reconsidering. Anything that you plan for this month will be cast into doubt. Many of those things may not work out. Some of them may actually work out, but it will be a hullabaloo trying to get them to work out until the last second. They will feel sketchy. Your best bet, pencil instead of pen for your plans in November if possible. If you're planning an important date, an event, have a backup plan for the weather, for other contingencies. This is a time when you probably need a backup plan, okay? So just knowing that ahead of time, that's what life is going to be like for Sagittarius at this time. So if you know it, you can plan for it. Okay, so all of this is happening along with the great enthusiasm, the great excitement of Sagittarius energy that you can hear that I embody. This is the nature of how I am, being a Sag with so many Sag placements, and this is going to be how this month is. December will also be this way. So we've got this flow of time where we're looking to the bigger picture, where we're wanting to get a bird's eye view, where we want to learn. When I tell you that this month is going to be full of zealotry, I am not kidding. Two of the most zealous, overzealous sometimes, signs are Sagittarius and Scorpio. Scorpio because it's ruled by Mars, super obsessive, rules obsession, and Pluto, mega ruler of obsession, and Sagittarius ruled by Jupiter, aka Zeus. The excessive energy of Sag leads to zealotry. So you are going to be on fire with something, and you may be making steam as well. We have a lot of water energy this month, which I'll get back to. And the combination of that is very steamy, which can be very productive. Think steam engine. All right. So the zealotry, the excessiveness is going to be happening. Very likely you are going to be on a bender. Typical image of Sagittarius, just makes me think of when my kids were little, walk to the library, load up, put the baby in the carrier, use the stroller instead of putting the baby in it to fill it with books from the library. Okay, this is a Sagittarius thing. And then coming home with 80 books from the library and being excited about those. So this is how it will be. You will be cramming knowledge everywhere you can get it to bring back, to go deep with the Scorpio energies into your learning process. If you have been wanting to be educated on something, this month is amazing. If you are a teacher and you want to create content, this month is amazing. Depending on the nature of the content, you may want to wait to launch your big content like we talked about with that retrograde flow. But if it's content that's something you're doing regularly or an update or something small and not really like a launch, that all is great now. If you're a writer or a speaker, typical Sag things, this is your time. If you're interested in publishing, this is your time to be looking into it, writing, reading on the topics. Maybe not necessarily bringing the book out if possible, but also like publishing blogs or magazine articles. All of this is what life will very likely be like for Sagittarius at this time. And this all also has to do with international business, relations, languages, typical Sag stuff. Every day I'm learning languages besides my own. Sages tend to enjoy that type of thing. You may be going on a language learning bender. Also, international travel. You may have an amazing travel plan for this time. Don't be afraid to travel during Mercury retrograde per se. Mercury retrograde trips are very common and they can be amazing. You just have to remember, you've got to check all of your stuff more than you think. Last minute gate changes, that thing with your car that you didn't get checked out, messing up your road trip. If you have softer vacation dates rather than everything is super scheduled, that will make for a much better plan for this time, because Mercury retrograde, it enjoys the energy of travel. It matches it. But not having everything planned out is going to be a better match if possible, because those plans will very likely shift. Leaving things flexible. Get the cancel for any reason travel insurance if you're planning a trip during this time. That is all good advice. Okay, so for Sagittarius movements light up the first house of Aries. This has to do with your physical body. You may be getting more vibrant. You may be becoming more physical. You may be doing something more athletic. You may be getting into exercise more. Each of those signs rules different parts of the body. And during the times when we have an extra concentration of those movements through that sign, it can bring up health issues or opportunities or strengthening or breakthroughs in the area of those body parts. Okay, so Sag rules the hips. And although Sag doesn't rule the skeletal system, we do want to look for hip bone stuff here. We do want to look for hip flexor muscles, the psoas, all of the muscles that flex and extend the hip muscles, tendons. You may find solutions for problems for tight hips or tight psoas muscles. Also the liver. This is a very important thing. I will periodically come back to this. I have a very long history in alternative and mainstream medical experience. And so I'm not a doctor. I'm not prescribing or diagnosing or treating, but I am bringing to your awareness that the energetics of Sagittarius as it relates to wellness very likely will be coming up strongly at this time, which includes your liver. If you don't know about your liver, it's a good thing to learn about your liver. As a Sagittarius, if you are a liver expert, you will be a happier Sag. Many Sages can get mood issues because their livers don't broken down neurotransmitters and hormones the way other people's do. I haven't done a study to see if people with strong Sagittarius placements have an increased chance of genetic mutations in their liver, but that's a pretty good hypothesis. And I've definitely seen for myself and other Saggies that I know that genetic mutations that cause you to not break down alcohol or break down pharmaceuticals or break down your own body processes, the metabolites of your own body processes. These can be a problem. So the more you learn about your liver and how to baby it, how to take care of it, how to support it, how to cleanse it safely, talk to your professional people, do your research. This is an amazing time for your physical vitality to be restored, and it can be restored through the understanding, through going deep into understanding these processes. And just one other tip about the liver. To really understand the liver, it's really helpful to understand the pancreas and the gallbladder and how it ties in also, because sometimes I will see those other organs come up along with this digestive process for the liver, because there's, such a strong relationship there. So yeah, this is a time for you to get healthy, for you to get happy, for your skin and your nails to glow because of your next level of radiant health. And so this is an exploratory process that you're going through at this time to figure out what is making you so tired, what is making everything so sluggish. And it may point back to the liver. Okay, so I could go more on about that, but I think you have it pretty clear. It's a pretty fiery month, full of opportunities for expansion and growth, discoveries of every kind, especially in your physical body. And you may also be claiming some limelight. The first house is very much about limelight, people paying attention to you, interacting with you, seeing you, your work, etc. And you will very likely feel very lit up at this time. Now, feeling lit up like this also increases the chance for burnout, so just be careful for that. Okay, so I got ahead of myself a little bit because I got excited about the Sagittarius energies, but we do have Scorpio things going on, and the sun is going to be in Scorpio for most of the month, and it will be there before it gets to Sag, although we do have all these other placements, including Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. It will retrograde back into Scorpio. Mars starts the month out in Scorpio. Venus will very quickly, a week into the month, get into Scorpio. Lilith is there as well, and so we have to talk about this. Water energy, deep emotional transformation. I have discussed before, as much as I adore Scorpio energy, and I really do, I have Sag placements in the 8th house, which express through the 8th house. My North Node is in the 8th house of Scorpio. My husband is a Scorpio. I'm not saying this to put down any Scorpio energy. I adore it. So if you have other Scorpio placements, then please know this. But when you're looking at Sagittarius expression, when you combine some aspects of Scorpio energy with it, it can put out your fire. So you're going to be on fire. And what happens when water comes to fire? It puts it out. I think that can kind of be good news in some ways this month, because sometimes we need to put fire out. You can ask my husband about that, how he does that for me often, right? Which is sometimes why we seek these water signs if we have an excess of fire, because we are like wildfires, right? So you will see some of your flames being put out. Some of those flames being put out might not be flames you want put out. You will be feeling that. Some of the flames that are put out, you will be relieved, because now you can focus on some other things. There are some very deep processes taking place here, not just because the sun is in transformational Scorpio, not just because Mars is in where it co-rules Scorpio, not just because deep Lilith is there, but also because these Scorpio placements move through the Sagittarius Pisces house, which is another water sign, which is another deeply unconscious and subconscious placement. In the weeks before our birthday, or the weeks before the sun crosses over, whatever your Sag placement is from this chart perspective, we have this deep dive into what we're afraid of, what we're anxious about, what we've thrown under the rug, swept under the rug, what our karmic baggage has been, what our ancestral garbage has been. All of that gets evaluated. Sometimes we go into it consciously. I will tell you, 20 years ago, more now, when I used to drink, I did not, and I was learning about the inner world and our inner processes. I did what a lot of people do, is I started partying early. I don't know if anyone among you goes through the thing, well, my birthday's coming, I'm starting to party now. I feel like that happens because when all of this energy gets into the 12th house and stirs up things in your subconscious mind, a default would be to bury it and to avoid it and to escape those uncomfortable feelings. So this period of time, in the weeks before your birthday, in the weeks before the sun moving over your Sag placement for rebirth and regeneration, you have an invitation to do something different. You have an invitation to, like I did in one fabulous Scorpio time period many years ago, I stopped drinking, and that was that. And that was one of the best decisions I ever made. I don't have a judgment on people interfacing with alcohol or whatever. This isn't about that. This is about your personal journey and where you're at in it. And during this time, you may find this is your time. So what I did at that year, instead of partying early, is I decided to become sober. And that was the beginning of a deeper dive into myself. And, if you go the other route, that's okay. There are still ways you can use this energy, but this is just an example of diving deep into the discomfort rather than covering it up. And you'll see lots of opportunities to do that at this time. Psychological work, those processes, I always like to talk about EMDR, NLP, EFT. You can look these up. This fabulous book called Marriage of Spirit that's been on my bedstand for over 20 years. My friend gave it to me for my birthday when my relationship crumbled around me, and my boyfriend at the time didn't follow through with a surprise party, and they had to make a makeshift thing. It was quite a terrible time. But she gave me this book that changed my life, and this can be that time for you. All of this Scorpio energy can awaken you to the power of your internal space and how you're manifesting from that space, and how you can use your connection with your subconscious mind and the unconscious, all that is, to attract different things in through using your reticular activating system, which is a mechanism of the brain. It's your filter. This is not just metaphysical. This is a time where you can learn more about your subconscious mind, utilize it, and then what happens when you go through your fears and you go through the things you don't want, you figure out more of what you do want, which is what the rebirth cycle is all about. So this is beautiful and purposeful that we look at the things that we don't want. Sometimes the things we don't want come up in this time, and we say, you're still happening, I don't want you. And then we can use birthday wishes, we can use intentions, if it's not your birthday, to navigate around trying to move towards the things that you really want by going through the fire of the things that you don't want and the abyss of the water as well. Okay, so it's a pretty intense time, but it's very much buoyed by all the Sagittarius energy. And we don't always have a bunch of Sagittarius energy all month long during November, like we do this year, which I'm very excited about, because this helps us to have this buoy that's helping us to not fall too far off into the abyss without having support. And as I'm saying this month, the lantern in the labyrinth. You're going to go through the labyrinth of Scorpio, but you'll have all of these Sagittarian lanterns to light your way. Okay, well, I've got some more things I want to talk about and some more dates that I want to give you. November 5th, we've got the full supermoon in Taurus, 13 degrees. Fullness, completion, fruition, drama coming to Taurus things, money, your financial sales, your material items, your relationship with the earth, eco-conscious types of things. If you're a maker, this could be a big thing that happens. You may finish a big project. You may get attention to your project. I like to call Taurus the sign of the makers, because things that you make with your hands are very much Taurus related. So that's happening really the whole first week of the month, the days leading up to the 5th, the days after it. So specifically for Sag, the completion, fruition, drama, for better or worse, is going to happen in your 6th house. Some sort of upset or accomplishment at work. Remember, this can be for better or worse. This is in a tough angle for Sag. It's awkward. It's called an inconjunct. It's called a quincunx. And it is going to make an awkward angle here. But that doesn't have to be a bad thing, because you have other placements in your chart besides your Sag placements, and so it's always complex. But something coming to light, something hidden coming to light in workspace. Could be your job, could be if you're self-employed, could also be something having to do with pets and animals or working with them. Could have to do with your daily schedule or people that you know, people that you see every day. There could be some sort of fullness or something coming to light. One of the biggest dates to note this month is November 11th. Our ruler goes retrograde. This is something that sometimes we are not very happy about, because we feel it, right? We feel Jupiter. We're like, are we forsaken? Is our great benefic ruler of luck and expansion forsaking us? You may feel certain things starting to slow down, not just from the Mercury retrograde, but some bigger things that were happening. Things in home and family and housing, things because Jupiter's in Cancer, things in the 8th house, deep relationships, metaphysical topics, wills, other people's money, shared resources. You may feel things starting to slow down that had been expanding for months. But that may be welcome because the expansion may have been a little bit too much. So you'll see if there is something cooling down that you really don't want to cool down, don't be worried. Jupiter is testing the foundations for future growth of your skyscraper. If you ever have seen, I like to talk about this analogy a lot, being from New York City, you always see those deep chasms that they would have, like there's a hole in the earth in the city, what's going on there? They're going to build a skyscraper, and they have to build the foundations really strong and deep into the earth to hold the height, and the weight of that skyscraper. So Jupiter ruling expansion, if we didn't have the retrograde, it would just expand indefinitely without any checkpoints. And that could be pretty bad, right? Talk about excess and zealotry. So this cools things down, helps us to strengthen the foundation for future skyscraper growth. All right. So if you feel things slowing down, just know that this is a 4-month process. And, you will be feeling that happening. We will have Saturn wake up on the 27th. So some things that had been slowing down may perk up here, right in the middle of all this retrograde energy. But my favorite date of the month is November 26th. And that is when our ruler, Jupiter, has a great angle with Venus. So exciting. And this is going to happen in our house of the subconscious mind and our house of home and family and housing. All right. So big opportunities for major healing ancestrally, major housing healing, major breakthroughs, major insights, stopping of patterns that have not been productive. It's a very exciting time. So I've given you a lot of dates this month. Remember to go to AnnieHelpsYou.com and grab that free November astrology star report with my sweet and salty dates. I go much deeper into more of the dates and what you can best use them for, as well as an overview of the month, as well as the mini astrology lessons, as well as the archives and my zodiac health tips and all of this other free stuff that you get. And you get early access to my content through there as well, AnnieHelpsYou.com. If you want personalized reports from me, if you like my insights and you want to see what's going on with the outer planets, the ones that are in one place for a really long time, we don't always talk about them in the monthly reports because they don't change month to month very much. You can see that at AnnieBClarity.com, Annie the letter B, Clarity.com. If you want to learn astrology in a deeper way, a more comprehensive way, if you want to learn for yourself, to help yourself and family and friends, or to do it professionally, I'm your girl. Go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com, and see my very comprehensive, very effective astrology certification course. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.